Welcome to the Embracing Neurodiversity podcast, where I share my journey of embracing the experience of my amazing son who is on the spectrum. I am Ivory, a mother, educator, and personal growth enthusiast. My goal is to offer insight and stories that may inspire you on your own parenting journey. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Embracing Neurodiversity podcast and our last episode in the State of Special Education series. This is the final part of our series. I am your host, Ivory, and today we are diving into what's next and preparing for the future of education. Over the past few weeks, we've explored threats to special education, the power of advocacy, who gets left behind, and how we can reimagine education at home and in our communities. And so today we'll look forward with hope, vision, and action. I mentioned this in last week's episode. I am someone who is rooted in solution. I am a half glass full type of girl. It is important to be informed about the social ills and inequities that are happening so that you can begin to create solutions and actions that work for you and your family. And so, what can we expect in the next 12 to 24 months? How do we stay empowered no matter what policy shifts occur? And what would it look like to build a parent led, equity driven education system from the ground up? I want us to dream bigger, to dream in an innovative way. So let's figure out a way to move forward on this journey together. So, what can parents expect? Based on the current trends, here is what you can expect from over the next 12 to 24 months. We already see signs of it occurring now. State level education battles. With federal protections under debate, state legislators will play a bigger role. Expect battles over funding, curriculum, special education services, and civil rights protections. This is why it's going to be really important that you are clear about what your values are and what you want for your child so that you can have a voice in those debates. And you can influence and perhaps shift perspective. The second thing you can expect an increase in privatization pushes. However, you feel about this, you can figure out and unpack on your own, but the reality is that you should look out for and expect an expansion of voucher programs, charter school proposals, and efforts to divert from public funds to private education. This is not a new trend. This is something that has been occurring since the late 90s, early 2000s, but there will be an acceleration as a result of the dismantling of the Department of Education on the federal level. Another thing that you can expect is what I refer to as patchwork protections, meaning, as I mentioned before in past episodes, that the rights for students with learning differences, English language learners, and other marginalized groups like students of color and students of color who are male, I should say. Those protections and rights will vary widely from state to state, increasing inequity across state to state, right? And as I mentioned in last week's episode, something you can expect is a lot of parent led models rising. Micro schools, learning pods, homeschooling, co ops, and some hybrid models will continue to grow as well. I've been very candid that I'm certainly exploring the idea of a parent led model for my child once he graduates from fifth grade, transitions out of fifth grade. And so I will talk more about those models moving forward in the future. According to a 2024 Ed Choice report, micro school enrollment increased by 35% nationwide in the past year alone. And so expect that to continue over time. Families are not waiting for systems to fix themselves. That is evident in the increase, and they are beginning to build new spaces right now. And I wrote about this in my Transformative Parent Playbook that in certain times, our vision becomes our anchor and our willingness to reimagine becomes our superpower. And so be willing to reimagine what education looks like for your child. There is no one size fits all. The more informed you are, the stronger your advocacy becomes. And so here are a few ways to stay sharp and empowered in the months ahead. Number one, set an education news day. Designate one day a week to check reputable sources and local educational news sources, right? Stay informed, but protect your peace at the same time. I talked about this last week. Balance is key and essential. The other thing that you can do is follow legislation sessions. Bookmark your state legislators' website, set alerts for education committee meetings, and bills related to special education funding and civil rights. I am going to continue to stay informed because this is the public facing work that I do as it relates to the curriculum I design, the coaching and consulting I provide to parents in schools, and even in this podcast. And so I will certainly funnel a lot of the information that I'm learning to the podcast, but locally, you should also remain informed as well. And so, by bookmarking your state legislative website and setting those alerts, that will help. Number three, build a parent coalition or join a parent coalition. You cannot navigate this alone. Start or join a local parent advocacy group. There are tons out there, especially ones focused on neurodiversity and equity. So you want to join something that you can relate to and it reflects you and your child's experience. If there isn't anything local, there are plenty online. You also want to learn your rights. Get comfortable with IDEA Section 504 in your state's education code. Knowledge is power and its protection. So learn your rights in conjunction to what is happening locally. And last but certainly not least, as it relates to how you can continue to stay informed, is to invest in self care. Sustained advocacy requires sustained energy. I'm going to say that again. Sustained advocacy requires sustained energy. Prioritize joy, rest, and community above all else. You don't have to do everything. You should just do something. Your consistent, informed presence will go a long way. Now, let's do some dreaming. What if every child's learning style was honored and not pathologized, right? What if neurodiverse family friendly classrooms were the norm and not the exception? What if community driven schools were resourced and not underfunded? And what if parents had real seats at decision making tables, not just token listening sessions? What if the future of education wasn't something handed down, but something we build from the ground up? In my vision, and hopefully yours too, education would be inclusive, designed with, not just for diverse learners. It would be flexible, offering multiple pathways to mastery and success. It would be community rooted, partnering with families, not excluding them. And it would be equity first, recognizing and addressing historic disparities head on. And so it's not about perfection. The idea of that does not even exist, but it is about power and ownership. As I mentioned in my Transformative Parent Playbook, I remind us that when we create spaces that honor differences, we create spaces where every child can belong, thrive, and lead. So, what's next? Maybe it's attending your first school board meeting. Maybe it's organizing a neighborhood learning pod. Maybe it's emailing your legislator. Maybe it's simply believing that your voice is enough. Wherever you are, start there. Together, we can protect what we've fought for, build what we've dreamed about, and reimagine every educational experience in a way that honors every child's brilliance. I hope that this series has left you informed and inspired. Please share it with another parent, educator, or advocate, and let's build momentum. Let's keep choosing hope over fear. Do not let the news and the rhetoric and the social media posts make you afraid. Keep moving forward, find community. I always thank you all for joining my podcast, taking time out to listen. And as always, I want you all to take care of yourself. Until next time, continue to stay informed, continue to stay connected, and always take care of yourself. Bye.